Free running is about changing the perception of what people think is possible for the human body and what's not. We heard about the island. This is not going to be a walk in the park. If I'm scared and I won't do it, I will regret it maybe for the rest of my life.
Some might say they're crazy, but they're the very best at what they do. They are more than athletes. Their sport has no rules, no stadium, no limits. Are they explorers? Are they artists? Even though what they create lasts only a moment, why do they risk everything to achieve something so ephemeral? A momentary descent, a line in the snow, a leap through space. Maybe what they're after is the ultimate beauty, the ultimate experience. The ultimate rush.
For a free runner, all the city's a stage. Every rooftop or balcony, every staircase or slab of concrete becomes a place to climb, vault, or hurdle from, in an explosion of athletic skill that's as expressive as a dance. What started as an urban niche sport has quickly spread worldwide. Although the sport is still young, each city already has its legends. In Frankfurt, Germany, the man to know is pro free runner Jason Paul.
Free running is creative movement in your environment, whatever that is. You try to find different types of movement, different styles, different ways of moving through your environment just by expressing yourself, setting yourself new challenges, and just being creative and having fun.
Free running began as an offshoot of the French athletic discipline parkour, itself an outgrowth of French military obstacle course training.
Parkour is really the origin of free running, getting from point A to B as safe and as fast as possible. So it was never about acrobatics and tricks and freestyle and all that. It was always just about safety and efficiency. And then when it spread over the internet, so many people from different disciplines and backgrounds got inspired. So martial artists got into it. They started doing all these crazy tricks and forms, and that's kind of built this massive network of all these different people with different stories from different countries contributing to this one sport and discipline.
Jason began free running as a teenager in Frankfurt. The sport transformed the way he looked at the city around him. Rooftops became trampolines, bollards became ski poles, and fences launching pads. Every obstruction turned into an opportunity.
Picking up free running at an age of 14 is already an age for me where I started driving into the city and going out and venturing more myself and exploring the city on my own terms. It's beautiful to observe how my perspective of the city changed, because something that was just boring or just busy or walls that were in my way, all of a sudden I could come back and I could see the city in a completely different light. For a long time, I was just here in Frankfurt in the German community making videos, and a lot of people in the worldwide community, they've had heard of me, but they never met me or didn't really know who I was. I think what really changed that for me was being invited to the World Championships.
Jason began piling up a series of high-profile competition wins that catapulted him to the top of the free-running world.
That really kicked off my career in the way that that the people that were my idols, suddenly I was traveling with them around the world, doing all these different competitions and sports and events. And it really put me in a position where I could exchange with all of them and make good friends with them and learn from them, and it really progressed me as an athlete as well and gave me a good idea of how freerunning is working around the world.
It was time to explore that world. One city in particular had become a free-running destination.
I've heard a few times like that freerunners would meet up in Bangkok to hang out and train. So I booked my ticket and I just packed my little camera bag with a spare pair of underwear, and that's it.
Here in the urban playground of Bangkok, Jason joined the Australian freerunner Sean Wood, the Latvian Pavel Pasha-Petkuns, and the Thai national Anand Anwar to form Team Farang, from a Thai word meaning foreigner. Team Farang surged to fame with a series of films depicting their most daring free-running exploits, and a website and clothing line to boot.
The most important thing is when you want to be creative is to find the right people that are passionate and share the same vision with you. That was really an amazing time because we got together in Thailand and in Bangkok especially, which is this crazy city. It's like the Wild West for free running. One of the most fun things to do is just to go up and play on these rooftops. And a lot of people don't understand, like they ask us, why do you have to do it in height? If it's exactly the same to do it on ground level, why do you put yourself in a situation where you could die if something goes wrong? It is intimidating when you stand there and take it in. There's really a process of me walking to the ledge, looking at the jump, checking all the surfaces, running through all the tiny things that make a difference to the jump, and then deciding if I want to do it or not. That's where there's no time for doubt anymore. Just control your mind in a way where you stop thinking about the consequences entirely. Every time I fight my fears, I'm not just learning for free running, but I'm learning for some other situation I might fear. The thing with Bangkok is, as much as it is a busy place and there's always something going on and you can have an adventure every day, sometimes that can become too much for you and you just want to take a break.
Jason and his Farang teammate Anand head an hour north to Ayutthaya, the 14th century capital of Siam, once one of the largest cities in the world.
You have these beautiful abandoned temples, the old capital of Bangkok that is so different. You have all this diversity. We can just go and discover and climb around and play with this completely different scenario than Bangkok has to offer. But it still gives us everything we need. if you look at free running, you could say, why do you have to travel? Why do you have to go to a new place? I could put you in a gym with a few boxes and you could build every scenario you could ever think of. But people don't understand that's not the way free running works. It's about me going to a place and almost artistically doing my interpretation of that environment. That's how traveling became so important for free running, because architecture and places around the world are so different and so diverse. We're always looking out for this new, unique location, and then we heard about Gunkanjima.
Ha Island, better known as Gunkanjima. A coal mining community founded in 1887, Gunkanjima quickly became one of the most densely populated places on the planet. But when the mines shut down in 1974, the island was abandoned and closed to the public. It was featured in the 2012 James Bond movie Skyfall as the villain's lair, but no actual filming was done there. Today, guided tours are allowed to stop at Gunkanjima, but the streets and buildings themselves remain strictly off limits.
Once we found out about Gunkanjima, this amazing location, we already made a decision, all right, we're definitely going to go there. But of course, you want to go there and you want to be happy with the movement and the free running you do, and you want to push it to a next level for yourself as well. Not just go to a new place, but do something that was new to you as well. And for us, obviously, that involves a lot of training and preparation. And one of the most amazing places to go for free runners to train and to progress is the Tempest Free Running Academy in LA. So for Anna and me, it was like we were hungry to go back out to Tempest already, and that was a perfect reason to justify that trip. We packed our bags, jumped on a plane, flew to LA for a few weeks just to go to Tempest and train and work on some moves and get fresh again and get a good flow between us going as well. And training in the Tempest Academy, of course, we trained with the free runners from LA, and that's where we met Lucy, who was already a friend of ours. Lucy Romberg is really one of the most amazing athletes I've ever met. She's really pioneering free running, not just for females, but in general. She's coming up with new tricks and just an amazing athlete. So already every time meeting her and training together, and it's a great chemistry, and I love the vibe we get training together.
You're so awesome. Nice.
The Tempest Academy is the perfect training ground. But even here, free runners sometimes have to learn things the hard way.
Of course, free running is dangerous, and we understand that. And that's exactly why we put so much time and practice in it, to make it as safe as possible. After 9 years of free running, the most injuries I've had always happened when I told myself this is easy. Oh, good. And that's what I think is the most important, is just to be focused in whatever you do, and then you're safe most of the time. The thing is, no matter how great a gym is, I can never spend all my life training in a gym, because free running for me has to be outside. And the go-to spot to do free running outside in LA is Santa Monica and Venice Beach. The crazy place, there's ridiculous people around, there's some really fun spots. You have the sand, so you have all the soft landing areas, which means you can go all day, and even if you make a mistake, it's not that bad because you're landing on sand. A lot of times you will have a goal in mind, and you always tell yourself there's this one more thing I have to do before I go there. But if you think about it, you'll realize you're as ready as you'll ever be. We made the right decision in going to LA. And after 2 weeks of being there, hanging out with Lucy, doing all this training, we really felt like the urge to go. We couldn't stay in that place anymore. We had the goal in mind, and we just wanted to get going and see if it matches up to expectations we had from all the photos we've been looking at.
Jason and Annan have arrived in Nagasaki, but they're not alone. After hearing about the island, Lucy couldn't resist the chance to join them.
The chemistry was perfect. We were training together. We're like, all right, we want to tell you about this place you want to go. It's in Japan. It's this amazing location. Nobody's ever been there. Do you want to come? And the person that Lucy is, she was on board straight away. She was super excited about it, and it was set. The nickname Gunkanjima has is Battleship Island. And that's because if you look at it from the coast, it looks like this scary, haunted battleship sitting out there.
There's only one way to get to Gunkanjima, an intense 20-kilometer boat ride across the rough Sumonata Sea. And as they slowly approach the island, the daunting reality of what they're about to attempt begins to set in.
The three of us sitting on the boat and looking at the island was definitely a moment where we all realized this is real, and we put ourselves in this situation, and we might not have full control about what's going to happen on the island, and we have to be very aware of the dangers and what could happen. To me, it was a moment where what was an idea before and a dream suddenly became real, and I wasn't sure about me being happy of it being real or not.
Even on tours, visitors are allowed only to observe the dangerously decrepit buildings from afar. But after months of struggle, Jason, Annan, and Lucy have obtained special permission. They'll be the first freerunners ever to set foot in this unique urban landscape.
Walking around the island, you have all these different feelings that hit you. For once, you have the excitement of being on an adventure with your friends and being in a new place. And once you have the sense of danger that gets you because everything is crumbling and falling down. And then mixed in with the curiosity of what life was at this place. So it was a lot to comprehend, and it was really a moment where we didn't even do any free running. We just walked around the island and tried to get a feeling of the place and trying to put us in the right mindset to do what we came to do.
As they scope out their lines, the freerunners realize that Gunkanjima offers challenges like no place they've ever been. Its unstable structures, razor-sharp edges, and ankle-trapping debris make this one of the most dangerous venues any of them has ever run.
One of the most important things for free running is having a safe landing area and a flat landing area, because as soon as it's a little bit uneven, you could roll your ankle or break your ankle really easily. And then looking at the conditions on Gunkanjima, we realized there's rocks and pebbles and wood and old railings and walls all over the place, and it's a chaos. But then where there's something bad, there's always something good as well, and that was how unique the location actually was. You had all these interesting staircases and bridges between buildings, and then you'd even have structures that just got created because the wall fell down and landed in a weird angle, and we could use that for a trick that would have never been possible if the island was still intact. Its uniqueness makes you realize I only have this location for this amount of time, and if I'm scared and I won't do it, I will regret it maybe for the rest of my life because I'll never come back. So you have this added pressure to it, mixed with the intense joy of being able to do something for the first time. in a unique location. You want to leave with a unique movement that you've created in exchange with this environment. To me, of course, free running, it's about going on an adventure and going onto a journey and heading into the unknown and proving that there's still boundaries to the human body that we can explore and that we can push beyond. I think it empowers people to do the same as well, because that's what inspires me, is seeing somebody who grows beyond himself. And I feel like that's the most important thing we are giving back to the community, is inspiring people to make their own journey and progress by themselves.